I've been wanting to make a video on James O'Brien for probably about a month now, but I've needed the impetus and the jumping board for me to make this video. And without a doubt, something horrific happened, and he's on with his usual bullshit. So if you don't know who James O'Brien is, James O'Brien is a radio presenter on LBC Radio in London. He's known as a cultural Marxist. People have described him on Facebook as a cultural Marxist. He was very pro-Europe and quite apologetic to some factions in society. He's also ripped into other parts because it doesn't agree with his political viewpoint. And yes, and before someone comments that I know I'm ripping into him because of my political viewpoints, yes, I kind of get that. Anyway, what event has caused me to make this video? Early today in Saint Etienne, France, 2 men have stormed into a church and beheaded a priest. Taken hostages, beheaded a priest. And I don't know who's actually being beheaded, but according to the Daily Mail, and I got this off Digital Spies Political Forum, the priest has been beheaded. So, by the looks of it, and it's very clear that, again, it's another horrific attack by Islamic terrorists. Supposedly they shouted Daesh as they came in. And it's been... this is the 4th or 5th one in 7 days? Maybe 14? But James did his little monologue at the start of his show. And James, I've been wanting to say this for a month and a bit now. You're a cretin. I'm sorry, James, you are a cretin. So, I was going to put his monologue at the start of this video, but I can't download it off Facebook. I've tried the Facebook downloader, it's not worked. I've tried twice, it's not worked. So I'll link the video into the description below. I'm going to openly admit, this is the disclaimer point. This is my disclaimer point before I get into places of worship, because I want to talk about places of worship and why this attack has pissed me off and why I'm attacking James for this. I don't believe that anybody should be killed in a place of worship. Granted, nobody should be killed, full stop. But places of worship should be sacred. That includes synagogues, churches, mosques, temples, Scientologist buildings, if you believe in that. But somebody went into a church and killed somebody. For me, that is the lowest of the unforgivable crimes. Murdering someone in a place of worship where deities and earth kind of should meet. You don't go to church for a piss up, you go to praise your God. So, how does James O'Brien react to this? From the video that LBC put out on their Facebook, he wants to talk about right and collective punishment. Yeah. at this point in time, does he really want to bury his head into the not all Muslims argument? Because at the end of the day, I'm going to reply to this. No, not all Muslims are terrorists. We know this. People have been saying this for years. What there is, unfortunately, is a small section of people who have been radicalized and take a different interpretation of the Quran and Islam to what other Muslims take. As an atheist, I accept this. If you go, the same can go with Christianity as well. There are Christians who take a different interpretation of the Bible to your average Christian on the street. Point in case, the Westboro Baptist Church. From the Bible I read when I was growing up, nowhere does it say protest a funeral of a dead soldier or protest other things with God hates fags. I'm just getting this out. And the rest of us, we're not calling out for a collective punishment, which James O'Brien basically came up with. We know, until we know who the killers are, we're not going to apportion blame to this. We are not here to go, well, because 1.5 million refugees from the Middle East have come into Europe, we're going to blame them for it. At this point in time, people are going to blame Muslims just because it looks like Muslims have carried this out. Rational thinking people will not blame Syrian refugees. I'm not blaming the Syrian refugees for this. What I'm going to blame is one person, one madman. Like when Dylan Roof went to that church in Charleston, we didn't blame Christianity. We didn't blame the whole of the KKK. We blamed Dylan Roof. We'll blame the attackers on this. So can James O'Brien stop talking about collective punishment from the right wing? Because it's not going to happen. I think some neo-Nazis might try and blame all Muslims, but the majority of the sane thinking people are going to not blame all Muslims. But James, James, I know I'm talking because you're not going to see this, but James O'Brien, really, you are making yourself look like an absolute cretin on this, trying to blame right-wing people. Well, not even trying to blame them, saying that right-wing people are going to collectively blame Syrian refugees. No, we're not. I'm not even right-wing myself, far right. But I'm not going to blame Syrian refugees. I don't think a lot of people are going to blame the Syrian refugees. I think your next monologue, you need to think about what you're saying before you collectively group people into one category so they can say, well, these people are going to collectively blame the Syrians. It's a retarded, not even retarded, it's not a nice position to take, to blame. Anyway, I know I've rambled, and I know I've not made much sense in some parts, but this is raw emotion that, yeah, it is raw emotion that I'm slightly dealing with, after seeing another horrific attack in Europe, and having to listen to James O'Brien ramble on and talk about collective punishment when no one's talking about it apart from him. Anyway, I'll see you next time.